This is Paul Oakenfold, and this is 24 Hours Podcast, that is, .com.
T-minus 4, 3, 2, 1.
Following is a 24 Hours podcast.
We're with DJ, mixer, producer extraordinaire Paul Oakenfold, and let me just say, for anybody that's ever spun a record in a nightclub, it's an honor to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Now, of course, you've entertained and performed for people all over the globe. What do you see on Canadian dance floors in relation to the rest of the world?
Sorry about that. Perfect timing. Well, I've been coming to Canada for many years. First place I went to as a DJ was Toronto, but I actually came to Vancouver and went to the Victoria Islands for a holiday many years ago. And I think that the connections, obviously, with the UK, primarily dance music, has been, I would say, certainly in the early stages of dance music, was more important in Canada than it was America. I think America was slow off the mark when it came to electronic dance music.
Now, you started apparently in your teens as a DJ. Was music mixing something that was just natural for you, or did you develop into something extraordinary as a result of it?
My father was in a band, and first music I heard was like the Beatles and Elvis as a kid. So I was in a band at school, and when I left school, I wanted to be in a band, and my parents were like, no, you have to go and get a trade. So I studied as a chef and then came back to music like at 19 and started DJing then. Well, I was collecting records prior to that and was a bedroom DJ, but never really took it serious until I was 20, 21 really.
Then I guess the real turning point, I guess, for you was Ibiza in the late 80s?
Ibiza was a turning point in terms of what I liked about the island was the spirit and energy, and also how, from a DJ's point of view, you could play all kinds of music together, from hip-hop, rock, dance. And that was probably one of the turning points. I suppose the major one that really shifted everything for me was when I toured with U2. I was on the road for a year and a half playing stadiums, so I did remixes by that time, so it really took me to another level. I don't want to rework a record for the dance floors unless I feel it, unless I like it, unless I'm really into the project. I mean, there's no point. And if I believe I can't do a good job, I won't do it. It's not about the money, the integrity. I believe less is more. I don't want to do a remix of someone and then it doesn't work. It's pointless. So no matter who the artist is, and I've turned big artists down, but it's not about turning big artists down, it's about what you do, and that's the reason behind it. I've got to know that I can really make it work on the floor and it's a real record.
Now, I know that you've turned some big artists down, but you've also worked with some very big artists. So obviously you're a very sought-after producer, mixer. That must make you feel a great sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, it's an honour to be asked to work and tour with these acts. I mean, I go on a 2-month tour opening for Madonna next month, and so it's great. I mean, I'm really excited about things like that, and also working as a producer or a remixer with some of these people. I never thought as a kid that would happen to me.
Now, I understand that Goa, India was obviously a major turning point for you. Was that where you were first exposed to trance music?
Goa, India is a special place in terms of music. It's strange because no music's made there. It's just it's a beach full of places, of not even clubs, of spots where they have open air parties. But what came out of it, for some reason, was trance became popular there, and different forms of trance. Psychedelic trance was really popular there, and the Westerners in general, especially Europeans, a lot of them would go there for their holidays, so that's why it kind of blew up, similar to Ibiza.
Now, it's really hard to categorize a Paul Oakenfold style because you seem to incorporate so many elements. Virtually everything that becomes a commercial success sounds completely radically different than the thing that preceded it. Is that something that you as an artist always want to challenge yourself and not fall into that malaise?
Yeah, for sure. I try and keep the integrity of the artist. So even though it's got my sound to it, you'll know it's you'll know it's a Chili Peppers record as soon as the vocal drops and the guitars come in. But overall, my sound is melodic. I choose music that's got a lot of melody, and I bring to the table a lot of melodic sounds, and that's what I enjoy, that sound.
At what point did you first realize that what you were doing was really catching on? Were you seeing it on dance floors? Were you hearing it on radio? At what point would you say it finally clicked in that, yep, this is working? I
worked with a band called Massive Attack. I did a mix called Unfinished Symphony that suddenly became a lot more popular than their original. And from there, I got asked to produce a band called the Happy Mondays, and that exploded in England and Europe. And that's kind of, I suppose, when it started to really click.
I wanted to talk about Happy Mondays because, of course, we've seen the movie 24-Hour Party People, and there's quite a bit of controversy surrounding the band. Was that a pretty interesting time in your life?
Yeah, I mean, it was, in terms of, it was really exciting because youth culture changed, and this band was like for some reason, it really represented youth culture that wanted to change, with the old establishment telling you what you can do and what you can't do, and a lot of change come from it, from bars getting longer licenses, people being entrepreneurs and independent of the 9-to-5 job, and believing in their dreams. I think, why can't you go and be that person you want to be? And from a scene, an attitude came about, and it happens in Britain. It happened with the Spice Girls, and as well. So it was a good time, but it was also a time where you realised that you don't want to get carried away on this wave. I mean, a lot that was going on in that film is bullshit. I don't agree with a lot that was happening. The guy who owned Factory Records was glamorising himself, and because he wanted to take his career. I wouldn't say, or certainly I'm aware from being directly involved in that scene, a lot of things didn't go on there.
Now, you've got a great body of work behind you, but most times when you talk to an artist, they always say that the project they're most excited about is what they're currently working on. What's the future hold for Paul Oakenfold? What haven't you given us yet?
There's a few things. I'm obviously promoting my album and really focused on the record. It's a worldwide release date, so it's been a lot of hard work, but enjoyable. The Madonna tour to support the album is going to be great, and then I jump into scoring a new movie called Nobel Sun, which, without giving too much away, is a kind of Pulp Fiction meets Snatch, a lot of twists and turns, and explained towards the end, and the music will be quite dark and a lot of guitars, so really looking forward to that project after the summer. So I like writing for film.
Well, I must say I've been a fan for a long time. Welcome back to Vancouver, and continued success.
Thank you very much.
24hours.ca